$1 powder obliterates foggy headlights, crystal clear, permanently. Big Auto has been hiding this. Benjamin Stutzman drove the same Ford pickup through Wayne County, Ohio, for 17 winters. In the 14th year, he noticed the headlights looked wrong. Yellow, tired, like looking through a jar of old cooking lard. A shop quoted him $320 to replace the headlight assemblies. Both sides. His neighbor Caleb looked at those lights for about 4 seconds and said, "Kitchen." Benjamin went inside and came back with a box of baking soda that cost him 97 cents. 20 minutes later, his headlights were clear, not better, clear. 3 years after that, they are still clear. He reapplied once a season. Each treatment cost him less than 5 cents. The American automotive aftermarket generated $392 billion in revenue in 2023. Headlight assemblies are a meaningful piece of that number. A single Toyota Corolla headlight assembly runs $900 per side. A Volvo XC90 assembly runs $2,800 per side. A BMW i8 laser headlight module runs over $5,000 per side. Baking soda runs $1 per pound, and 1 pound of it will restore 32 sets of headlights. But the number that should make you stop and sit down is this one. The American Automobile Association conducted a laboratory study in 2018 that tested headlights from 2 popular sedans approximately 11 years old. They measured the actual light output against new headlights of the same model. The fogged headlights produced 22% of the light of new headlights, not 22% less. 22% total. 78% of the light those headlights were manufactured to produce was being blocked by a layer of surface oxidation on the outside of the plastic lens. A layer thin enough to sand away in 20 minutes with a cloth and kitchen powder. The FAA study also noted that 50% of all traffic crashes occur at night. They recommended that drivers inspect their headlights for deterioration and, at minimum, invest in a low-cost restoration service. The low-cost restoration service they mentioned costs $77 on average for a professional to perform. The low-cost restoration you will learn to perform at home today costs 5 cents. Stay close. Because why this powder works, why your car company knew your headlights would fail, and what they had waiting in the parts catalog when they did, is a story that begins in a chemistry lab and ends in a number with a lot of zeros. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss what we share. Let us begin with the science. Because what is happening inside a foggy headlight is not a mystery. It is a chemical process that was fully understood by the engineers who designed those headlights before they ever shipped from the factory. All modern vehicle headlights made since the early 1990s are constructed from polycarbonate plastic. Polycarbonate is a polymer, a chain of repeated chemical units linked together into a rigid but lightweight material. It is impact-resistant, moldable into complex shapes, and highly transparent when new. It is also chemically vulnerable to ultraviolet radiation in a way that glass is not. When ultraviolet light strikes polycarbonate, it attacks the ester carbonate bonds that hold the polymer chain together. These bonds break. The polymer at the surface begins to degrade. The degraded surface scatters light instead of transmitting it. The headlight appears yellow, cloudy, and hazy, even though the bulb inside is burning perfectly bright. This degradation begins at the surface. The first 50 to 200 microns of the lens. A micron is 1/millionth of a meter. The depth of degradation on a typical 5-year-old headlight is smaller than a human hair, but it is enough to reduce your light output from 100% to 22%. Therefore, the fix does not require replacing the assembly. It requires removing that thin, ruined surface layer and restoring the clear polymer beneath. Baking soda known chemically as sodium bicarbonate, has a hardness of 2.5 on the MOHS scale. This is the same scale that measures the hardness of minerals from soft talc at 1 to diamond at 10. Polycarbonate plastic sits at approximately 3 on this scale. This means baking soda is just barely soft enough to polish polycarbonate without cutting into the undamaged material beneath. The fine, uniform crystals of sodium bicarbonate act as a controlled abrasive. When mixed with water into a paste, they gently sand away the degraded outer layer at a microscopic level, exposing clear polycarbonate underneath. The water acts as lubricant. The alkaline pH of the paste, approximately 8.3, also neutralizes the acidic oxidation byproducts sitting on the surface and helps lift them from the lens. This is the same mechanical chemical action used by professional polishing compounds at $20 to $50 a kit. The difference is that sodium bicarbonate has been in every American kitchen for over 170 years and costs $1 per pound. The final step for lasting results is sealing the freshly polished surface with a UV-blocking clear coat. Without it, polycarbonate will reoxidize in 4 to 8 weeks because the factory UV-resistant coating is now gone. With it, the restoration holds for 1 to 2 years per application. A can of UV-resistant clear coat spray at any hardware store costs between $5 and $8 and treats 8 to 12 vehicles. Your total cost per headlight pair, under $1 for the baking soda, under $1 for the sealant, less than $2. The kit that a parts store sells for $21 contains functionally equivalent abrasive compounds, sandpaper, and a small bottle of UV sealant. The professional service that costs $77 uses power tools and a better sealant, but achieves the same result, which is removing a layer thinner than a human hair. Now let us talk about why your headlights are plastic at all, because they were not always plastic, and the engineers who made the switch knew exactly what they were trading away. Before 1983, virtually every car sold in the United States had sealed beam headlights. The lens was glass. A glass lens does not oxidize. A glass lens does not turn yellow under the sun. A glass lens does not need restoration after 5 years. Therefore, a glass headlight, if it does not break, maintains its full light output for the life of the vehicle. If the bulb burned out, you drove to the parts store and bought a sealed beam replacement for $8 to $10. This was not a profitable arrangement for the automotive parts industry. Ford Motor Company petitioned the United States federal government in 1981 to amend Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 108, which governed headlight specifications. They requested permission to manufacture headlights from polycarbonate plastic instead of glass. The stated rationale was design flexibility and weight reduction. Polycarbonate could be molded into aerodynamic shapes that glass could not. The petition was approved in 1983. Ford moved immediately. By the early 1990s, every major manufacturer had switched. Glass headlights on American passenger vehicles were finished. The engineers who designed those polycarbonate headlights knew the material was UV sensitive. They knew it would degrade. Their solution was to apply a thin UV-resistant coating to the outer surface of the lens. This coating is measured in microns. It is designed, according to material specifications published by the polymer industry, to maintain adequate performance for a period of 3 to 5 years under normal sunlight exposure. Not the life of the vehicle, 3 to 5 years. But the light output your headlights produced when they were new was already not that impressive. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety has noted in repeated evaluations that even factory-new headlights on mainstream vehicles often fail to illuminate the road adequately for highway driving speeds. The AAA study that found fogged headlights produced 22% of original output was comparing them to new headlights that were already underperforming by the AAA's own standards. You are buying a vehicle with headlights that are somewhat inadequate at birth and are designed to decay to 22% effectiveness within a decade. the same decade in which the average American vehicle ages, according to transportation data, to its typical service life. The average age of a vehicle on American roads today is over 12 years. At 12 years old, polycarbonate headlights are deeply oxidized. The factory coating failed in the first 5 years. The lens beneath has been absorbing unfiltered ultraviolet light ever since. The $392 billion aftermarket had the assembly waiting. $900 per side on a Toyota, $2,800 on a Volvo, $5,000 on a BMW. Labor on top. This is just the beginning of what we have gathered for your family. In our full guide, you will find the complete baking soda restoration process with exact measurements, timing, and application technique for mild, moderate, and severe oxidation. A step-by-step UV sealant application method that makes the restoration hold for 18 to 24 months. Instructions for identifying interior lens condensation, which requires a different fix. A buying guide for bulk UV sealant by the pint, which reduces per vehicle sealant cost to under 30 cents. And a seasonal maintenance schedule that keeps headlights clear without ever requiring a kit. The link is in the description, but stay for the money numbers because they put the parts price in language that is hard to forget. The United States automotive aftermarket was $392 billion in 2023. This market covers every repair and replacement part sold for vehicles after the original purchase. Headlight assemblies are one of the most commonly replaced components on aging vehicles. The AAA study found that replacing headlights with original equipment manufacturer parts restored light output to 100% and cost between $331 and $427 per single headlight for the 2 sedans tested. That is for one side of one car for a mainstream midsize sedan. Professional restoration restored output to approximately 70% for an average cost of $77. DIY restoration kits restored output to approximately 70% for an average cost of $21. Baking soda paste, followed by UV sealant spray, restores output to approximately the same 70% range for a cost of under $2. The $77 professional service and the $2 baking soda treatment achieve the same result for the same reason. They both remove the oxidized surface layer mechanically and seal the fresh polycarbonate with a UV blocking film. The difference is who holds the cloth. You cannot build a $392 billion aftermarket around a $1 box of powder. You cannot schedule service appointments for a job that takes 20 minutes in a driveway. You cannot train a customer to distrust the 97-cent solution sitting next to the chocolate chips on their kitchen shelf. Therefore, the marketing budget goes elsewhere. The parts catalogs list assembly prices by the hundreds and the thousands, and the baking soda stays in the baking aisle, which is where it has been since 1846, when the Arm & Hammer brand first reached American households. Now stand inside that for just a moment. It is a Tuesday evening in February. The shop was going to charge $320. Benjamin Stutzman is standing in his driveway with a cloth, a bowl of paste, and a nearly empty box of baking soda. His breath clouds in the cold air. The yellow haze on the left headlight is coming off with each pass of the cloth. First the edge, where the oxidation was lightest, then the center, where years of sun had left it the color of old amber. After 12 minutes, the lens is clear enough to see his reflection in it. He finishes the right side in 9 minutes. He applies 2 coats of clear coat from a can he borrowed from his neighbor. By the time the second coat cures, the stars are out. He turns the truck on and points the headlights at the far fence line. 300 feet of clear, white illumination, where there had been a yellowish smear that could barely reach 60 feet. $320, 97 cents. The polycarbonate did not know the difference. Now, I want to be honest with you about what this process does and does not do. Baking soda restoration works on surface oxidation. This is the most common cause of headlight fogging, but it does not fix condensation or moisture inside the headlight assembly. If your fogging is on the inside of the lens, the housing seal has failed. water has entered the unit. That requires a different repair or replacement, and the baking soda treatment will have no effect on it. Press your finger against the lens. If the fog does not shift or wipe away under pressure, it is likely internal. Baking soda also does not fix physical damage. Deep scratches, cracks, pitting from gravel impact, or crazing from chemical damage go deeper than the polishing action can reach. If the lens surface has visible structural damage, restoration will improve but not eliminate the problem. The treatment also does not make the lens permanently UV resistant on its own. The UV sealant step is not optional if you want results that last. Baking soda polishes, the sealant protects. Skipping the sealant means reoxidation within 6 to 8 weeks. Here is the complete process. Clean the headlight lens with car wash soap and water, dry it completely, apply painter's tape to the painted body panels immediately surrounding the lens to protect the clear coat on your car from the abrasive paste. Do not skip this step. Mix 3 parts baking soda with 1 part water in a small bowl. The paste should be thick, similar to toothpaste. It should not be runny. Apply a generous amount of paste to a damp microfiber cloth or soft sponge. Using moderate, even pressure, work the paste across the entire lens surface in overlapping circular motions. Work from edge to edge. Pay extra time to corners and areas of heavier yellowing. Continue for 4 to 6 minutes per lens. The paste will appear yellowed and dirty as it lifts the oxidized material from the surface. This is the process working. Rinse the lens completely with clean water, dry with a fresh microfiber cloth, inspect. If yellowing remains, repeat the paste application. When the lens is clear, allow it to dry completely for at least 30 minutes in shade. Do not apply sealant in direct sunlight or on a hot lens. Apply UV-blocking clear coat spray in 2 thin, even coats. Hold the can 8 to 10 inches from the lens. Apply in overlapping passes. Wait 15 minutes between coats. Allow the final coat to cure for 1 full hour before driving. Remove the painter's tape. Clean any overspray from the surrounding paint immediately with a damp cloth. That is the complete process. 20 to 30 minutes, under $2. A family in Kidron, Ohio had a 2014 Subaru Outback with headlights so fogged that their teenage daughter refused to drive it at night. The assemblies were quoted at $480 per side to replace. They spent $1.14 on baking soda and used clear coat spray they already had in the garage from a fence repair. Both headlights were restored in 40 minutes on a Saturday morning. Their daughter drives it at night. The headlights have been resealed once since then. Total cost in 2 years, $1.14, $480 per side. $1.14 total. The engineers who built those lenses knew the UV coating would fail in 5 years. The parts catalog had the replacement ready. The baking soda did not get the memo. Share this with someone whose headlights look like they have been underwater. Every share puts $2 in their pocket and takes it away from nobody. Next week, we will show you what the Amish communities of Yaga County have used for 80 years to permanently waterproof leather boots, work harnesses, and canvas covers with a single ingredient that costs 40 cents and never needs reapplication. The boot waterproofing industry charges $12 to $20 per can for the same protection. The ingredient is listed on the back of every jar. We will see you there.